Okay, this morning I was supposed to go live to talk about some labs that I do that can help explain why your body's not losing weight like it should and a lot of other things. And Instagram just had other plans. So instead of one long video, live video, I'm going to break it down into shorter videos over the next week. Today, I want to start with one of the most important labs that I look at when someone is struggling with things like feeling tired, feeling foggy, or have stubborn weight gain. And that lab is fasting insulin. What's interesting is that a lot of people have never had this tested because most basic labs, routine tests, look at things like your fasting glucose and your A1C. And although those normal numbers are normal, a lot of people don't realize that those numbers can stay totally normal for years, even while metabolic dysfunction is developing under the surface. Because our body is really, really good at compensating. What happens is our body starts to produce more insulin in order to keep our blood sugars normal. So the glucose looks fine, your A1C looks fine, and everything looks good on the surface. But insulin is quietly rising, and it's a really important hormone because it tells our body whether to store fat or burn fat. So when insulin is elevated, our bodies essentially are being told to stay in fat storage. And someone can feel like they are doing everything right, trying to eat healthier, trying to exercise, trying to take care of themselves, but their body just isn't responding the way it used to. And a lot of times we'll blame it on age, but it's something I see often in people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And I have a lot of people coming to me saying, I haven't changed anything, but suddenly this weight is increasing or it won't come off. Or they'll say, I am so tired in the afternoon, no matter how much sleep I get. Sometimes they'll say, I just feel like my metabolism just slowed all the way down overnight. And sometimes what's actually happening is that insulin resistance is slowly developing. And because that glucose and A1C can stay normal for such a long time, a lot of people have absolutely no idea what's going on. So I actually saw a wellness client this morning who has already had a significant improvement. When we first checked her fasting insulin, it was 25. We've been working together for 2 months now, and it is already down to an 18. Now, that's not optimal, but that is a major improvement, and it's telling us that her body is moving in the right direction. It's doing what it needs to. So optimal is actually at 5 or below. And so we're on our way there already. So she's making changes and we're making a lot of progress, but we just have to keep on working to get it down to where her body feels like it's safe enough to actually let go of extra weight. Okay. Now she's excited. She has a lot more energy. She says she feels different, and she was just happy to see that those numbers were changing. And that's the same thing with a lot of people I see. They keep being told their numbers are normal. But when we look deeper, we see that that does not tell the whole story, and that we have to address these things. And once we do, we start to see things shifting, just like that client. Her energy improved, even brain fog improves, and your body starts to respond differently. One thing I want people to understand is that insulin resistance doesn't only happen later in life. Like I said, I've seen it in 30s, 40s, and 50s. Sometimes, even younger, unfortunately. And because routine labs don't usually include fasting insulin, a lot of people walk around for years without realizing what's actually happening on a metabolic level. And that's totally different than that surface stuff. So your metabolism is just slowing all the way down. You feel exhausted even when you're trying to take care of yourself. So I just want to encourage you all, if you have never had your fasting insulin done, I want you to ask yourself, it's worth asking, what does my fasting insulin look like? Because that single lab can sometimes reveal patterns that the basic labs completely miss. And it's actually one of the reasons I created my comprehensive lab panel through my telehealth practice. I'm so excited about it. Because I just kept seeing people who were told that same thing over and over and over again, normal labs, and nobody was taking a deeper look at things. And so part of what I look at in that panel includes fasting insulin, along with a lot of other markers that help us understand what's happening on that metabolic level. So once we have that data, we can start connecting the dots between symptoms and what the body is actually doing behind the scenes. And that information is incredibly helpful for someone who has been feeling stuck or feeling like they're just not getting answers. So if you're curious about what your own fasting insulin might reveal about your metabolism, I'm going to include a link where you can find out more information, learn how you can get the labs, because sometimes that's all the difference we need. I mean, we can't do anything about something that we don't know about. So you get the data and you're able to use that to your benefit. So if you're interested in getting information about the link to be able to have your own test done without any commitment. I keep saying that. I don't want people to think I've only created this just so people can come see me. I want you to have the information so that you can take it and you can do what you need to for your health. That is the most important thing. As I keep saying, I am not a gatekeeper. I want you to have the information because I wish I had the information. I wish I had the information long ago when I was working in primary care. So that I could have guided my patients better at that time. But now that I'm able to do this, I'm thrilled that I'm able to offer lab tests to people in any state. If you want to get your lab panel done to know what your fasting insulin is and these other markers that I'll be talking about further in the week, then message me, labs, and I will send you the link. It will explain everything to you on how you're able to order it, and you reach out if you have any questions for me. All right. Thank you so much for listening.